We're going to search the scriptures today about Esther. So get your Bible and turn to Esther chapter 1 through chapter 9. Number 1. Why did King Ahasuerus want a new queen? Let's look at Esther 1 verse 11 and 12. To bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But Queen Vashti refused to come to the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So why did King Ahasuerus want a new queen? She did not honor his request to come to the party. Number 2, who became the new queen? Let's turn to Esther chapter 2, verse 16 through 17. And it reads, So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house, his royal house, the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight, more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. So who became the new queen? Esther. Okay. Number 3, what special information did Mordecai hear about the king? Let's visit Esther chapter 2, verse 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, 2 of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which were kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on the king. So, what special information did Mordecai hear about the king? Mordecai sat at the gate and heard and overheard the men talking about a plot to kill King Ahasuerus, the king. Okay, number 4. Why did Haman want to kill Mordecai and all the Jews? Let's go to Esther, the 3rd chapter, 2nd through the 6th verse. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Then the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, Why transgresseth thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, and they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he thought to scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, but they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. So why did Haman want to kill all the Jews? Why did Haman want to kill Mordecai and all the Jews? Mordecai refused to bow to Haman. Haman knew that Jews loved God and would never bow to anyone. Number 5. Why did Esther want the king and Haman to come to a special banquet? Let's look at Esther, the 4th chapter, the 4th through the 10th verse. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it to her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai and take away his sackcloth from him. But he received it not. Then called Esther for Hathach, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So Hathach went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city which was before the king's gate, And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of money that Haman had promised to pay the king treasuries for the Jews to destroy them. Also, he gave the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to shew it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go unto the king to make supplication unto him, and make a request before him and for her people. And Hathach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto Hathach, and gave him the commandment unto Mordecai. So why did Esther want the king and Haman to come to a special banquet? She wanted King Ahasuerus to know about Haman's plan to kill all the Jews. Number 6, why did the king decide to honor Mordecai at the banquet? Let's look at Esther chapter 6, verse 1 and 2. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the Chronicles, and they were read before the king. And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, 2 of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. Why did the king decide to honor Mordecai at the banquet? King Ahasuerus remembered life when the men were plotting, when Mordecai saved his life and the men were plotting to kill him. Why did King Ahasuerus hang Haman? Let's look at Esther chapter 7, verse 8 and 9. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed wherein Esther was. Then said the king, Will he force the queen also before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. And Harbana, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, Behold also the gallows, 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, Hang him therein. So why did King Ahasuerus hang Haman? The king was angered that Haman would use his decree to kill all the Jews. The king loved Esther and Mordecai, who were Jews. Number 8, why did King Ahasuerus give Esther and Mordecai special permission to kill anyone that hated Jews? Let's read Esther chapter 8, verse 11 through 13. Write ye also for the Jews, as it liken you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name, and sealed with the king's ring, may know no reverse. Then were the king's scribes called at the time in the 3rd month, that is the month Sivan of the month of the 23rd day thereof. And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and to the deputies, and the rulers of the provinces, which are from India unto Ethiopia, 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing, and according to the language. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together, and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people in the province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. So why did King Ahasuerus give Esther and Mordecai special permission to kill anyone that hated Jews? King Ahasuerus did not want their enemies to kill the Jews. And I have read you the chapter of Esther, and we have searched the scriptures today. See you next time.